Welcome to Only Ghosts in the Building. This is your host, Emily Claire.
And Karen Lynn. And today we have
Kelsey Hendrick.
And Colleen Krautheim.
You have heard them before.
I went under Estes, and now that I'm like this epiphany, I feel like me and Estes, like that's where I get my most.
You're another esthetician.
I know, and I feel like every time I get like really affected from it, because the first time I got that horrible migraine the next day, and then I also was touched while I was doing Estes at Fort Mifflin.
On your shoulder.
And it was like hunched over, rocking, stuff like that, and that I don't even know I realized I did.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting in the chair. I think I was under Estes for a minute.
Not even
when I overcoming feeling of nausea.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, if I don't get out of here, I am going to puke. I'm one of those people that do not, I have a phobia of vomiting, so I've never been, when I get nauseous, it's very rare. So I was like, okay, I need to get out. So I pulled myself out of Estes and pretty much was like, I feel sick. I'm going to go upstairs.
Bail.
That's what I was like. I say, I'm going to bail. I'm going to go get a snack. And you guys were like, okay, like, let us know if you need anything. Let me know. And Ron walked me up the stairs because he wanted to make sure that nothing's going to happen to me.
Right, yeah.
So he followed me up the stairs and made sure that I got there. But it was like an overcoming feeling of I was going to be sick.
Yeah.
And then I go upstairs and I sat down on the couch with a snack and I did not move.
Yeah.
After that. And then you guys got my name on the Estes.
So then when you went upstairs, I think I did.
You took over.
And I got your name a couple of times. But before I got your name, when I put it on, Emily came through and someone's talking in my left ear and it sounds like Emily. Yeah. And I didn't realize that apparently mimicking is a it's a big thing at the Haunted Manor. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't figure out what you were saying, but I didn't realize until I took the headphones off. I'm like, that sounded like Emily talking in my ear.
Yeah.
You said a couple of things to me. Like, why am I hearing her voice? You weren't talking.
Yeah. And when you're under, you can't hear.
Exactly.
So you had when we were there the first time, you had the mimic.
Yes.
And then
it mimicked Morgan and you.
Okay.
But I was up in the X room.
But then you heard Morgan being distressed.
Yeah, she said, "Help me."
She was on the third floor. You were on the second floor, right under her.
Yeah.
And she was.
And I came out. I pulled my blindfolds off, and I was like, "Hey, check on her,
mm-hmm.
and make sure she's okay," because I got her saying, "Help me," and it was
so scary.
It was, but it was really creepy.
It's also interesting because I think if I had known all of that going in,
mm-hmm.
you have those things in your mind, and it's like
and
was it Cindy? No, what's her name from the Dead Files?
Amy Adams?
Amy Allen.
Amy
Allen always removes
Amy.
everything. They remove everything from the house so she doesn't have any ideas.
Yeah.
Like anything religious, anything, they remove all that when she goes in to do a reading of a house. So I think going in blindly, again, matters because if I had known about the whole mimic thing in the back of your, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
in the back of your mind,
mm-hmm.
I feel like you need to go into somewhere. I think Cindy Kaza does the same thing too.
She does too.
She doesn't know anything and goes in.
Right.
And Michelle, as we were talking about earlier, Belanger.
Mm-hmm.
That's important because I didn't know any of this stuff.
And I think that's why I like going in too. I don't want to know.
I'm glad you didn't share it with us.
Yeah, because you need those validation keys. And now you know. And so I knew. And when you said that, and I was like, yeah, there's a mimic here. Like, yes, that makes sense.
Well, so, I got a mimic now that I'm thinking about it later. Remember, we went down the basement again, and we'll have to go back into that. But I went under Estes again down the basement with Ray. And we were doing a double Estes, and I was under for a while, and I kept getting you in the basement. I got you multiple.
So I was just gonna say for those of you who
Colleen,
can't say,
Colleen, I got Colleen down the basement multiple times, and it was like it sounded like you were trying to ask questions, but they were questions like trying to get someone to talk through Estes. It was very strange.
That's interesting.
Like it sounded like they literally heard you say that and they just mimicked you like a parrot.
It's crazy.
But I could not hear you with the Estes.
So with me, when you were under, I had my
dowsing
rods out.
And
that's right. I was going around and I was asking about the woman who died down there. And I was like, where did you die? And it brought me to a spot.
And Ron was with you the whole time.
Videotaped me the whole time.
So you and Ron were on the other side near the Underground Railroad entrance.
Yes.
While I'm doing the SDs, Ray was doing it the whole time, and everyone else was videoing and asking questions. So a lot was going on in the basement at that time.
And it was pretty wild down there. And then so I got it. I was like asking questions, and it was saying yes and all that stuff. And then I was like, all right, well, let's try to see, like, can you point me in the direction? And it was like, shoop, and moved all the way around and made me turn around behind me.
Well, because your back was to the Underground
wall.
Railroad entrance? Like that?
No.
That wall?
It was that wall, but I wasn't that close.
Okay.
I was not that close.
Okay.
So I was kind of like, April was sitting against that part.
Oh, okay.
Right
Closer
then.
to. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I was like, not that far away from her, against that wall that would be the front entrance wall if you were upstairs. So that's where it said she died. And then I was like, okay, well, we got furnace on the Staticom the weekend before, and we think that somebody is buried down there. So let's go, like, where is your body? And so it kind of like led me around, like it turned me this way and it turned me this way and made me go around, and it led
when you
me
say
to
it turned you, how do you mean that?
the things would swing and point,
the
like it would
rods
go,
on
it would
dowsing
swing the
rods.
rods to point me in the direction that I
Okay.
needed to go. And I kept asking, and I have the video, you guys can see the video, push pause and go find the video and come back afterwards and watch it. And it sends me to that front room by the staircase.
And where Ron had the experience.
Where Ron felt the experience, where he felt that static in the hairs. So that's a validation, double validation. It's a validation for me, but also a validation for him. And I guess a triple validation because I was talking to the woman that died. So at that same time, you guys on Estes was getting help stuck. I can't go, like things like that. And so I was like, well, would you want us to help you move on? Like, you can go. We all started telling her, like, you can go. You're not stuck here. Darlene's kind of squaring up with the man, like, no, you can't keep her here. Like, she was feisty about it. It was funny.
It got to a point where Ray was like, don't provoke.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't provoke.
But didn't you because you came and walked around near April to do it together, and that's
Yes.
because April
I came over.
Right. April had been sitting there the whole time.
I gave
leaning over.
Darlene
Okay.
the rods, and I said, you try what I just did, and I want to see if you got it. And she
Right.
kind of did the same thing.
So I was taking a ton of pictures,
Yeah.
and as April's saying, I feel him behind me to my right.
And
You're
I could feel
standing
it
on the other. You could feel it
on my left hand, like he was standing between us. It was cold.
Okay.
And so I videoed
Yeah.
Emily trying to pass her on with April.
I didn't even know what I don't have the capabilities to pass somebody out, like to pass them over, even if that is a thing.
But you did. But you
Who
were doing
knows?
it.
Right. So I was just pouring energy to, like, I was like, help her go home. Go home. If you want to go home, you can go. You're not stuck here. You don't have to do this. You don't have to be here. He has no power over you. I think we were all kind of like giving her the pep talk that if she needs to go, she can go. And that's when we heard
The loud bang.
yes. And that was up right above us. And I actually, on the video, I looked this way at the lights there because the flashlight was going. And I'm looking over there because I think I saw like a flashlight
To your left,
happening.
and the flashlight is going off and on.
Yeah, but the bang was to my right and it was on your right.
Mm-hmm.
April's left because she was facing us.
On the first floor.
On
above
the-
your
on
head,
it- and
which would be in the print shop.
It would have been in the parlor. The way that
Oh,
we
okay.
where we were.
Yes.
And which is where you were, but
I was
you weren't
not in
moving.
the parlor. I was in the where was the meeting spot? Well, that was
That's
the
a
parlor.
parlor.
Oh, I was in the parlor. What's in between the parlor where Jason was sleeping?
Yeah.
So
Like where the
So
bathroom
he was sleeping, and I think when I came up finally, I think that's when maybe you were upstairs getting interviewed.
You came up before that. Everybody
Okay.
came up from upstairs, but I was sitting still and I'm hearing footsteps upstairs. But
Yeah.
I didn't move because I didn't want to.
When you say footsteps upstairs, second floor?
Second floor. I mean, I couldn't. I just heard. Well, because was sitting, so I kept looking up the stairs. So I didn't know if it could have been like I would hope it would be the second floor, but who knows at that point, because it was echoing down the stairs. And I was in the back of my head, I was like, I know Cindy and Sierra are upstairs. They could be moving around, but I'm like, I hear the footsteps, and they were watching me on the camera. They were listening to you guys and watching me.
Yeah.
So they validated that it was not me because I was sitting there.
Yes.
And then you guys were like, "Did you hear that bang?" And they validated it was not me or Jason because we were both sitting still.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have it on. I have the bang on
You have
video,
the video.
because I was But
And I think that we could send that over to Trey and see if he can find the static cam in the parlor of her sitting there, and maybe it's on there,
Right.
or maybe
So you have
they can find the footsteps. They
timeline,
recorded the foot.
right?
Yeah.
So
Um,
you know what time, about what time? it
I
was
think
this
we're gonna
morning.
have to sit down and really work on a timeline of
I
evidence.
can estimate because I tried my best when I did my videos and the recorder. I said the time and where we were.
I have the timestamp on my videos on my phone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the one thing I did forget to mention while we were down in the basement that whole time, Ron with the flashlights, though that flashlight responded to all of our
the
questions.
Really?
Yeah.
And it was interesting because where I was sitting most of the time, where we're all sitting with the chairs, I'm looking at the flashlight on the furnace coming at us, and I remember periodically saying, okay, the flashlight, and as we're asking the questions, it got bright, it got dim, it went out completely.
Yeah.
Ron's asking questions, it's responding to the Estes with Ray and the different people. Like, it was fascinating, and it wasn't just randomly going, it was responding.
Yeah, we checked it twice.
Were
But
there any other pieces of equipment there? Just the flashlight?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that
No.
the dowsing rods, the flashlight, the Estes material.
I think we had an EMF, but I don't think it went off.
it was in the middle, but
If we did,
Yeah.
it definitely didn't go
No.
off. Nothing. Yeah.
But yeah, I was
The REM
upstairs
pod,
and
the
I
REM
didn't
pod.
move at all.
Because that would have been a really good validation if two things were happening
Yeah.
in response.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't know, the Esta's crazy. It was crazy because I was saying, you can go, and then he's saying, a woman's voice, no, don't go, and like it was like arguing, like don't go, like it was.
Ray was saying that?
Yes, in
Wow.
his Phasma box Estes, it was wild,
And you have this all on tape.
and we have it on video.
Yes, all right, video.
We do.
We do, we really do.
And then you guys all came.
And then we
Everyone
all came up to the
Yeah.
parlor to take a break, check on you. I know Cora had gone
Yeah,
up to.
she came up to check on me, but she was also sitting
I
there.
think I came up before most people.
You did too, because
Yeah.
you told me about the bang and everything. You were
Okay.
talking to me about it because you were like, "We got your name," and like you were telling me all this
Yeah.
stuff, and I was telling you how I heard the footsteps.
Yeah.
And we're like going back and forth. Cindy and Sierra come down, and they were telling us like we were watching you guys on the camera,
Yeah.
validated what everything we were saying.
Yeah.
And then Sierra takes me upstairs, just me and her. Cindy stays down and was talking to you guys.
Yeah.
And I think she also did her own interview with April at that time. So
Yeah.
it was just me and Sierra upstairs on the second floor. And we have the interview, and they're going to probably use it in their video, maybe, who knows, but
I hope so.
I know, me too, because it's
I want
actually
to
really
see
cool.
how this all plays out because I feel like the timeline really like it was super active. Like it was so active.
So I'm mid-interview talking about my experience, how I was feeling in the basement. All of a sudden, the dead bell goes off.
Bing.
Bing! And then behind me, you see me in the video turn my head to the slaves' quarters and said, footsteps.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, which now that I'm thinking about this, is like somebody was calling a slave. And they were coming. The bell goes off, and the footsteps started coming.
Whoa.
And I'm getting chills now. I'm thinking about that. If you think about it, the bell goes off. You hear the footsteps coming from the slaves'
and
quarters.
the servant. It's
Servants'
not
quarters.
yeah,
They
servants.
weren't
Slaves, but servants' quarters. So it's like
Yeah.
somebody was calling someone
Yeah.
with the bell. and they were coming to like help
Answer
or
the
whatever, answer the bell,
Interesting.
because it was very displaced, which was kind of crazy. The footsteps weren't like quick.
Yeah.
They were very much like they were trying not to make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you think about it, like a servant is trying not to make themselves, I mean, they make themselves known when they need to be, but they want to be like respectful.
Right.
So it sounded like, and you could hear the full foot, like the
Yeah,
feel of the
'cause
foot
it
hitting.
wasn't just a creaking, it was footsteps. Clunk,
Mhm.
clunk, clunk.
And yeah, it was crazy because you could hear, and I turned my head so quickly and was like, oh, hello, hi,
Yeah.
you're here. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then we all took a break.
then you took your
And Jason's sleeping the whole time.
You missed it all.
He was really, he was mad a little bit, and then like when he woke up, he like came back and did some stuff with us, and then went back to bed.
So what did you do after your break?
What did we do? We went back upstairs we were like triple Estes.
Yeah,
I think we did go back up to the second floor.
The cuss words,
Yeah.
the cuss words on the Estes.
Yeah, well, and that's when I went into the servants' quarters with Leela,
yeah.
and we got zip zilch nothing.
And it's
So
interesting.
you guys take over for this one.
Yeah.
Well, because Ron, when we were in the servants' quarters, same thing.
Yeah.
I think it was earlier on, Ron, Leela, and me, and we didn't get anything. I don't recall us.
I had a lot of activity with the Twinkle Twinkle, because that's when Ray brought out he went to his car and pulled out the Twinkle Twinkle, which was apparently the kids love it, the song.
Oh, that went on. That thing went on all night.
It was going off to my questions too.
I know.
So I was asking like, are you a boy? Are you a girl? It was
Yeah.
going off all the questions. It was going off. And then it was also like, it would stop and then Buzzy Bee would go off. It would stop and then the dog would go off.
Yeah.
And then I think I
And the
forget,
cat balls went off.
they were
too.
going off like crazy.
Everything went off.
Because I put 4 down, and then the 2 of the ones kind of went together.
Yes.
They were like right next to each other, and I was like, I didn't put them down.
And
like that.
I will have to ask Ray, because he had his camera on the whole time.
Yeah.
And I will forget what I asked, but then all 3, the dog, the Twinkle Twinkle, Buzzy Bee, and then a cat ball went off at one time. And it was like instant after I asked the question. So I can't remember what the question is right now that I'm thinking about it, but he has it on video.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is we kind of all spread out on the second floor there. So I know when Ray was doing the STs, you were in the children's room. I was in that room, for lack of a better term, the mirror room with the blue light.
Yeah.
The one next to it. So I was sitting on that church bench there.
the
and that's
pew.
where the pew. That's where Ray, he is cursing up a storm through the Estes. I'm really, really vulgar,
Yeah.
very, very graphic words.
And
And
I heard you.
I was, so I'm sitting there, and I'm kind of just sitting there by myself. Nobody's, and I'm like,
you can't say that.
no, I was like, can you please not use that language? And he's shooting more words out. And I said, that's really, and I remember just like talking to, and he just,
I was laughing.
I was like talking to a kid or something. Please don't curse around me, basically. And Ray just kept shooting them, and it was funny. And when we talked to Ray afterwards, he mentioned something about, oh no, he followed us from the basement up
Yes.
to the second. He actually said that to us, and I would love to get his perspective.
Oh no, you can't wait to hear. He's excited for that because he was like He replayed the whole entire incident of the rape and murder.
See, I think like
So there's two people, right?
yes.
Okay.
The
Yes.
2 men.
Yes. Now, I don't know. I can't remember if he said 1 or 2 of them followed, came up with us, but I remember him saying when he took everything off, and I was like, wow, because it was out of sorts because we didn't, like all that language, just not, we had a little bit of it down.
Ray.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, no,
saying it.
of course not.
And he doesn't talk very much, period.
No, he's very
And
quiet.
I couldn't imagine anyone, but like when I tell, it was, it was very, very
And
So did
inappropriate.
anybody else get that through the rest of? You said there's a
So
triple
remember
Estes?
when I did my Estes in
Yeah,
in
yeah.
room X, the first time I was getting called a C word and a B word and all this stuff. Like he was saying nasty things to me through the headphones.
No, that was when you were with your mom in March.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so not with, okay.
Yeah, and that's when I got the Morgan mimic, and also Amy said that he does that to her too, because she was there that night, and she was like, "Oh, he calls me that all the time."
So I'm curious, because I think I know where you're going. I think Ray was the only one getting that through.
Okay, yeah, because
Yeah,
I was
I
asking, were there other
no.
people doing it at
Yes,
the same time
who-
and they didn't get it?
Was Darlene doing? I can't remember.
I think
Sarah
Darlene. I
Ser-
think
someone-
no,
I thought
Darlene did
Darlene-
because
she-
I gave her my stuff.
Yes. So, but I didn't talk to her. I think Ray, because Ray was very loud with repeating, obviously, what was coming through.
Yeah.
You know, and it was curse, male, and he was really good because he would say male or female, so you knew which voice was coming through. And it took me a while to catch on to that in the basement. But he would say, you know, whatever the word was, and I know you and April had said, but yes, it was like male,
Yeah.
the constant cursing. And even after I tried to get him to stop, it just kept coming. It was like,
So he didn't listen to you.
Yeah.
they didn't care.
No, because you're getting that activity. I'm getting all the kids in the kids' room. Because they were setting off all the toys, and like we brought cookies up, and we were offering them treats and
Yeah, there's candy everywhere.
candy
Oh my goodness.
and
Yes.
Did you correlate anything with when the trains go by?
I tried.
Okay.
Well, what's the other word of not debunking? Like
Validated?
that it was not the train that was setting off those because
No, but the activity level.
oh.
Sometimes the train
Yes.
stimulates the activity
So
levels.
I was nervous that the train was because it would vibrate the whole house, and I was nervous that was setting off
Because
the
it's
EMF
like right there.
or the buzzy bee. So what I did was after it went past and it set off the buzzy bee because at first it was just the buzzy bee was going off, and I was like maybe the buzzy bee just got set off by the vibrations. So what I did was I literally picked it up and shook it, and it did not go off. Without, like, you had to, like, push the button or touch the button for it to go off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's no way that the train was doing that.
No.
So after all that, I think we went back down for a little break, and we were ready to.
I think I was making coffee.
Yeah, but I
was
think
like,
we were
oh my
ready to
God.
do the basement again,
Yeah,
right?
It was
because
like 3 a.m. at that point.
Because Sierra wanted to get down there, and they had some plans of their own that didn't include us. But
Ray and Sierra.
yeah,
Yeah.
they had some intentions, and I don't think those intentions got met.
Okay.
I think that dude just kept going. And it's funny because Morgan, when we were there, she was like, he doesn't want the story told. He wants everybody to shut up. He doesn't want people
Yes,
talking.
that's right. I remember that.
He doesn't want anybody to know about the story. And now it's like night and day switch with this guy. And now he just can't shut up about what he did to these women. Isn't that wild? I think that's really interesting because he's like, he doesn't want his story told. He's telling the woman to shut up. You know, like it was.
So I'm curious, do you think the more people coming through, maybe he's feeding off of
Yes.
that? Our responses to
I've
him.
been talking about that for a long time.
Okay, so that's what I'm thinking. I mean, mind you, I've only been there once, but that
Because
with-
we were at the opening.
Yes.
So they had done investigations before that, but just small groups. We were there for the opening with larger groups. That might have been the first time that many people have been in the house at once.
He was
Because
antagonizing.
I felt like he was showing off a little on the second
Oh,
floor
yeah.
with Ray. He's like,
Yes.
like to me, you can't tell me what to do.
Absolutely.
And he was just feeding on that, and
And he
just
was
through
probably
Ray.
doing it on purpose because he knew you were upset.
Yes.
Absolutely.
He may
Yeah.
have been just
Absolutely.
like, okay, well, if she doesn't want me to do it, let's do it some more.
Yeah.
Because you're a woman.
Yeah, I can't wait for Morgan to hear about this because this guy flipped his script. And now he can't shut up about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Makes me want to go back tomorrow. And I want to investigate so much more. I have so many things I want to ask and do.
See, this is the thing is
Oh my goodness.
I didn't want to encourage him. I wanted to go in there with the slaves and the Underground Railroad, and I wanted to get that. I just really tried to get that.
But he
like,
was
all that
obnoxious
energy.
and
But he just overtook everything, and even to the second floor. So
Did you get the other guy this time or just the one?
just the one.
So we did the basement again.
Yeah.
Ray went under the first time, again under Estes, and then I went under Estes again. And obviously I was under, so I don't remember what went down, but apparently me and him were going back and forth.
Yeah.
Like, it was like 2 different people were going through 2 different estes.
I don't remember a lot of the
That second time either.
Mhm.
Well, I was under.
I don't
weird?
either. And I think I totally skipped something the first time with the dowsing rods.
Yeah.
I feel like I remember what happened to me after you were done with the dowsing rods. What was that, the second time? I don't recall. But I borrowed the dowsing rods from you after you were done in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, when we were here last time doing the Fort Mifflin podcast, nothing happened while I was sitting. Like, I feel like I need to connect to the dowsing rods, and I haven't yet. Like, I need to learn how to use them properly and kind of get my energy flowing through them. So
You need to get in touch with your guides.
I do, and you said that to me last time, and I have to
Yeah.
remember that. I do, so the next time I use them. But anyway, I was asking, you were filling me in on everything that happened to you, so I kind of was walking in your path, as you said. I wasn't really talking too much, but I wasn't getting any response. So I walked through to the steps of the basement, and I turned around,
Yeah. I remember.
and I came back, and I stopped right by the flashlight on the furnace. And I'm just standing there with them, and I feel something swirling around me, some kind of energy. I didn't know what it was. It wasn't on me, but I could just feel something moving around me. And then all of a sudden, something touched the back of my neck, like 2 seconds. And I went, oh, someone just touched me. It didn't feel negative. It didn't feel anything. It was almost like, hey, we're here. I want you to know.
Well, it's because, this is my theory on it, it's because you weren't getting the movement, but it wanted you to know that it is there and it was trying, but it wasn't coming through right.
Yeah.
So.
I need to practice with them. I need to figure out how to, because I think that they're a fascinating tool, the dowsing rods.
It really is.
They are. I know you, Kelsey, you used them the first time, and right away you were able to get a pretty quick response, and I know, Emily, you do.
It's harder for her.
I was just going to ask, you do?
I do. I got some when we were at Rockwood.
Yeah. But it's a lot harder for
always.
her than me. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I just find it fascinating,
Yeah.
It's a fascinating tool. And
But I used to use pendulums all the time. Like, I have been.
I never. This was
well,
the
you're
first
very
time.
witchy.
I am.
You are,
She's a
in
witch.
a wonderful way, but you
Yes.
are, so you have that.
But I feel like the second basement, we didn't get anything notable that I remember.
Well, I think we all bailed too.
We
We
did
were kinda- I
slowly
remember-
straggled
and
out.
let-
Yeah,
them
Ray and
do their
Sierra, they
thing.
were, because we did come up, and I remember we were, I think, getting ready for bed, because
Yeah.
at that point it was like close to
Yes.
4
Yeah.
a.m.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were pretty
And
tired.
Darlene had to leave,
And Cora.
and
Cora.
So-
Cora left.
Yeah, so
And then when they were done, they packed up and left.
Yes.
yeah, right. Because that's right. Because we actually were on the cots with the lights off, and I remember Ray running through the manor, picking up all the toys and things, and he goes back upstairs.
Yeah.
So we get set up. We grab the cots
Well,
and put them in the parlor.
We did, and then I go to the bathroom and I noticed that I had the scratch on my arm
Yes.
from the basement.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
I noticed it now because it's still fading from the
Yeah.
time. And I was in the bathroom. I'm washing my hands. I looked down. I was like, that was not there last time I washed my hands or looked down at my arm.
So where do you think the scratch came from?
Definitely
do you
the
remember
basement,
getting it? You do
I-
you remember getting it?
I don't remember getting it, but I don't remember it being before I went down the basement the second time.
Yeah.
The second time.
And you got scratched at Fort Mifflin.
At
Penhurst.
I did not get.
Penhurst. That's right.
I got
Penhurst, you
touched
had-
at Fort Mifflin,
That's
but I
right.
got scratched at
So this is
Penhurst.
not our first time getting
So
scratched.
you need a little bit more protection in your
I
life.
guess.
Yeah.
Future endeavors.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's because it's fading right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see it, and I can send you the picture of it. I took a picture in the bathroom when I
Yeah.
saw it.
Yeah.
Um,
We could just post up on Patreon.
I know.
For sure.
Seriously. So, okay, so we're in the parlor. It's Layla, Kelsey, me, Emily.
Yes.
Ron and
And-
April went up early. They went up like an hour before us. They had already been sleeping for
Yeah.
like an hour.
Well, she left the basement the first time,
That's right.
and then
April
she
did,
just
yeah.
she just
April
went.
didn't want to go back.
She was done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was very, very tired, and so they slept on the second floor in the kitchen area.
Well, I don't know how much they slept.
Okay,
But they were laying up.
I
there
know
quiet.
Ron
Yeah.
said he did not. Yes, the cot, and then Jason was in that room next to us with the bathroom adjacent to
Yes.
it. That small little hallway,
Yeah.
and then Ray and Sierra were down the basement
And
doing.
then they packed up and
Right.
left.
And so as soon as we lay down and everything gets It's come.
Yeah.
Emily and Kelsey.
Well, you validated me.
Yeah.
I started hearing you because you didn't let it sit down right away. You were like,
No, I was moving stuff.
you were
I was-
very antsy. You could not
I had
settle
to
down.
Yeah, I had to like, because I'm very particular about how I sleep. So I had to have headphones in, like I listen to podcasts or audiobooks when I go to sleep. So and I play my games. So I had to get all my setup, and I was cold, and I like was the last person to do the bathroom. So like that was my whole thing, and everybody, like Layla was already asleep at that point, like because I could hear her kind of like breathing heavy.
Yes.
but I had my head on the pillow facing Layla.
Yeah.
And we're back. My back is to you, and you would just finally lay down, and I'm hearing this. Like it sounded like it was murmurs or whispers. Like it's like like if you could not get the words, but it sounded like
it. I honestly at one point I thought I was like, is that Jason talking on the phone really quietly in the next room?
It sounds like you're eavesdropping somewhere. Like you can't understand what they're saying, but you know somebody's talking.
Yes.
And Jason was sound asleep.
I got up.
Sound
I was
asleep.
like, is anybody hearing that? Or what did I say? Can you
And
hear
I
that?
raised my hand. I was like, I am.
You're hearing it. And
And I'm in between both of you, and I didn't hear any of it. So it's Emily, me, Kelsey, and I heard nothing at that point.
Yeah, and I wasn't even close to you because after that I moved over.
That's right, you were still bottom.
I was
She got up and just scooted the
I was like,
like
that kind of creeped me out.
And
Well, so we heard the murmuring, and I get up, and I was like, okay, I like peeked in on Jason. He's passed out asleep. So I walk up, and I'm like, you guys awake? Were you just talking? Because it sounded like Ron talking to me. Like sounded like he was murmuring. It was his voice to me.
I could not place a voice.
Right.
But
to me it was.
I noticed that I only could hear it in the ear that's pressing to the pillow.
And
I couldn't hear it in the other ear. Like
Kelsey.
it sounds like I was listening from the basement.
Yes.
Like it was like somebody was in the basement.
And that's what happened to me a little while later. That was the creepiest thing. Yeah.
Like,
so it was
I had my ear pressed up to the floor. That's
the
what it
pillow.
sounded like.
Yes.
You know what?
The pillow ear. Same exact thing happened to me, but not with you two. It was after you two, like a half an hour later.
You know what? Like coming back to that, because I always put one earbud in one side, and then I have my other side and I had something going. I was listening to like Morbid or something like that, the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I could hear it through that. So and I put my head up and I pulled it out, and I was like,
and it stopped.
No, it didn't stop. I heard it a little bit longer, and then it stopped.
Now that's interesting because for me, like you, Kelsey, I heard it a little while after you guys, and it was my left ear and my back was to you, so I was facing the other wall. And I heard it in the pillow, like it was the basement. Couldn't understand it, but it was a murmuring.
Mm-hmm.
I put my head up, it stopped, and I'm looking around. Nothing, it's quiet. I put my head down again, it started again. Mm-hmm. It was the creepiest thing, but the same thing that happened to you. And it wasn't my ear, it should have been the ear out to the room, but it was the ear that was covered with the pillow.
So I'm wondering if there's something like how does that work? And I at first I was like, after you talked about that, I was like, well, were they hearing my
No.
headphones?
No.
Like
no
were they hearing my
possible way.
No. How could I not think about that?
Mm-hmm.
Our ear to the room, I would have heard it here. I didn't hear anything in the room.
And I didn't even know you had earphones in.
Yeah.
I was far away
It was
from
only
you.
in one side.
Yeah.
So
'Cause I
it was
can't lay with
constant,
it the other.
or was it on and
I was
off?
like,
It was constant until I lifted my head up. I mean, and I lifted my head up pretty quickly because I'm like, what is that?
Here's the thing, and I don't know how I know this, but bees, you hear bees. If bees have a nest in a building and you put your ear on it, you'll hear that, you know.
But it didn't sound like a buzzing.
and it didn't, and it wasn't
it's
the
like
rest of the night.
And this is going to sound weird, Karen, and you wouldn't know this, but in my bathroom at home, we have a little nest, and you can hear that buzzing all the time. So
Okay.
I know exactly what sound you're talking about
Okay, yeah.
because we
Okay.
get it right outside our window, and it comes in the summertime. That
Right.
sound, I know that sound.
Good
it was,
thinking though.
That definitely.
No,
good
it was
thinking. This was a
man's
talking.
voice.
It
Yes.
was a talking.
It was a. It was
If
a.
I could describe it, it sounded like I'm pressing my ear up either to the floor listening downstairs or
Yes.
I'm trying to eavesdrop on another room.
Yes.
And
Right.
I could not understand what they were saying,
Right.
but people were talking
Same.
and having a conversation.
Yes.
Same.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And you just heard one voice, or did it
sounded
sound like
like
it fluctuated?
I couldn't
No,
tell.
it sounded like one person talking.
Yeah.
Like I was hearing, like I thought, I'm hearing one side of the conversation. Like I was like, is Jason whispering on the phone? Or not whispering, but murmuring to somebody on the phone. Like is
Trying
he-
to be quiet, but like
Right. Like but he was asleep. But this was a big night. And
It
this
was.
and I still have more interviews to do.
There's a lot. So,
Yeah.
and we didn't even get to the next morning. So we eventually
Oh, yeah.
all settled down.
Mm-hmm.
I know I don't fall. I mean, I fall asleep at some point. I guess in my mummy style, as you said, Kelsey.
I think the sun was up at that point.
Yeah, but I remember Ron and April coming
Coming
down,
down.
and I actually thought they left, but they just went out to breakfast and came back.
Yeah.
And it was like what 6:30, 7
They
a.m.
spoke to me and they told me they were going because I was
Yeah.
awake.
It was early in the
Yeah.
morning.
I woke up and I was like, please don't wake me up anymore. I tried to go back to sleep, but then they came back and we were like,
And once they came back in, we were all up.
yeah, we're like, all right, let's go.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. We're here upstairs. And they said that they were investigating while we were asleep.
Yeah, so you'll have to get that from them.
Yeah.
So because they went to bed easily an hour before any of
Yes.
us did.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Except
then,
for Jason.
Well, yeah, but I know. Yeah, I mean, Ron. I don't think Ron ever slept at all that night.
No.
But April slept a little bit, and then, as you mentioned, for a little while they were going to town upstairs with investigating while we
Yeah.
were sleeping.
While you were sleeping.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
wasn't even aware of, which maybe I did sleep more than I thought that I did.
I didn't hear them.
No.
No, I was out.
Yeah.
But then we went upstairs in the morning and we didn't really get.
No, we did hear, because we heard somebody, like a woman's voice.
Oh, yes.
We heard a woman's voice. Where was that? That was up. Was it like on the we were up on the second floor and we heard that woman's voice, like kind of as it would be up like on the third floor, like kind of echoing down the stairway from the third floor. That's what I remember.
And we did go up to the third floor because I remember the lights coming through
We tried
the
to do the
slats.
cat balls.
Yeah,
And they didn't go off. No, it was
no,
very.
it was pretty quiet. And, yeah, and I remember at some point in the morning, we're like, okay, it seems like it's over. They're
They
done
left.
for the
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we really didn't get.
But
So
we
you didn't get
we
anything
did
else
hear a
from
couple
that
of
except
things.
that?
Yes, the
Yeah.
voice.
Except the voice.
April kept saying it feels empty.
Yeah.
Like it feels
Like
like
they're
that.
all in bed.
They're
Yes.
all in bed or they all left.
Yeah.
Like it feels empty.
Yeah, that was, we were like, okay, time to pack up and leave. And that's when I left my iPad upstairs because I had brought my equipment up to like,
Investigate.
And apparently your selfie stick too.
maybe my
Your
selfie
tripod?
stick. I can't find it. It might be there. I don't know.
The spirits are taking selfies.
Yeah. Well, they need a phone for that.
That would be awesome.
Ghost selfie.
Yeah, right?
I am so ready to go back to this place with all this information.
Yeah.
And there's just so much in the history that we've done.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you guys, what time did you all leave?
10
Packed up
something.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I left both my coffee and my can of water on the desk. And we wrote a note. April wrote the note.
She
right?
did.
It was so cute. And then Rowdy posted it.
Aw.
And it was like, we love our guests.
They could not have been nicer. Rowdy setting this up, Cindy and Sierra, Ray.
Yeah.
It was an incredible experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I would recommend it to anyone. It was just so fascinating.
Just put your bubble of white light around you before you go downstairs.
And find good people to go with.
yes.
Yes.
So it
Absolutely.
helps if you can
Yes.
coordinate with people that you've investigated with before, because people do different things. They have different thoughts about it.
Cindy was saying that there's times that she had a group come in, do a private, and they got nothing.
Mhm.
But she was like, they didn't bring any equipment. So, like, they weren't, like, trying. They weren't really.
So we were lucky then.
We weren't necessarily lucky. I think our energy
You're open. Right.
we
And I
we
think
ramp
we
it up.
all, we connect with each other.
Yes.
And the interesting thing is Jason, who we had never met before,
Yeah.
he just fit right in
Right
with
in.
us. And we all together, I think that energy, it does matter. It does.
I think it does really, and I think that's why when we set the attention, we go places. We're like,
Yep.
we're gonna get good people, because we know what it's like to have not good people, not
people
bad.
People that just don't have that level of interest.
Yes.
They're there for, they're
Whatever.
waiting for something to scare them, or they
Yeah.
see TV shows thinking it's all like, woo,
No,
you know.
Right.
you gotta
And it's
create
not.
the energy. You've
No,
gotta
it's
get
not.
it started.
And it's primarily not scary.
No.
although
Right.
They're the negative energy.
I was
there
like,
is
after I heard the
this
murmuring, I was like, I'm
swearing
gonna
at
go closer
you.
to you guys.
Your spine like Loki
Yeah.
curls up a little bit, and you're like, I'm gonna.
Honestly, I think the bottom line is you must go with respect.
Yes.
Yes.
Wherever you go, you have to be respectful.
Yeah.
You do.
Even if that guy's a piece of shit.
I
Are you allowed to say shit on the podcast?
Shut up, Mom.
know. The feminist in me was screaming.
Oh, I had to bite my tongue
All
because
of
I
us.
did
And
not
then
want to.
Darlene, she did not want to bite her tongue. She was funny.
She
I
was
know.
funny. She was, and she
She was
got
like, don't
so.
you talk to her like that.
Oh my goodness.
It was, yeah.
That's you've got to.
Because we were getting a lot of like anti-woman,
Oh, yeah.
like
Yes.
I'm the man of the house.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I wanted Ron to show his face first. I
Yeah.
wanted him to know that we had a man and not a like weak man.
Right.
Because Ron is not
Right.
weak.
No.
He's a
Sissy man.
biker. He is a biker.
Real man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he has that protective energy.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
he,
Like I said,
caring.
he walked me
You know what?
all the way up the stairs into the print shop and made sure I got there safely.
And
Yeah.
Tony's like that.
Yeah.
Tony's like that
Tony
too.
is very much like that.
But
He's
since we didn't have him that night,
Is Tony part of Interstate?
yes,
Interstate.
he's the
Okay.
leader.
Oh, okay.
He's the one that was in the hospital. Yeah. So that's why Cindy took over.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he usually is the man, the
Yeah,
big man on
he
campus.
He protects. But yeah, that's interesting. I'd like to hear all that.
Yeah.
Well, I
Poor
can't
Ray.
thank you both
Did
again.
he have like PSTD after all of that?
I don't know. I really need to talk to him.
Because
He was
that's
under
gotta be
so
pretty
long.
traumatic.
Yeah.
So
all
long
that
both
stuff.
times. Mm-hmm.
But his goal was that. Like his goal was to get like he wanted to Estes it up. Like that was his whole thing.
Yes.
And he was a trooper on that. So
Wow. Good for him. He is so quiet and so nice. I can't imagine him saying things.
And he was loud with it too. He was very, repeating everything.
yeah, well he was loud because he can't hear his voice.
What'd you
level.
say?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Hardy har har.
Okay, well,
All right.
anything else?
Now, thank you.
What's our next trip? That's the question. Are you doing the
Penhurst.
We are doing
Penhurst?
Penhurst.
You're doing Penhurst next.
August 30th.
August
So,
30th.
Karen, would you be interested in going to my haunted manor with us again and not do the basement? Would you do that with us? Because I feel like you would bring a lot of that
Do
great
you think
energy.
so?
I do.
You know,
I wouldn't want to scare you though or make you feel uncomfortable,
no,
but I feel
mean,
you'd be
The
protected.
basement I could do because I know what to expect
Mhm.
now. It's the overnight that gets me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a good overnight
Our
person.
first time we left
Mhm.
at 11:30.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't an overnight anyway,
Okay.
except
Yeah.
some people
Okay.
stayed overnight.
Yeah,
So
there was
you
a couple.
could do just the regular or the overnight.
Oh, okay.
And so some people stayed for overnight.
So if Darlene came, you two could maybe buddy back or something. I mean, it is a lot. It's a long.
no,
It's a
if I
long-
went, I'm staying at
Bullies.
Oh, so you would go
And-
in a comfortable bed.
Yeah, and we
yeah.
have to. Maybe we should book 2 nights, 2 rooms, because we slept in the same bed. You guys could sleep in
Okay.
the same
Mhm,
bed, and
mhm.
we can investigate. Because he'll let us investigate. We talked to the owner.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I think it would be. I would enjoy you coming with us, and
Yeah.
but for you to be comfortable, obviously. And
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
Okay.
I wouldn't. So that's the real reason is like I can't drive late at night, and
I don't want to drive
would
late at
leave,
night.
and I'm not really fond of sleeping in a cot. You know.
I don't know if I'd want to do that either. I'd probably stay late and then just
It was like the
Bounce.
once we did it.
Well, we did
Cool.
it, so it was
Yeah.
an experience. Yeah, you're right. I mean, we did it.
yeah. And
Yeah.
like it wasn't uncomfortable. I mean, it was uncomfortable, but it wasn't like uncomfortable.
It wasn't
like
bad.
it wasn't like I need to leave. I hate this.
It was
Yeah.
the experience.
Yes,
It totally was.
it was.
Yeah,
And
but our
you
next
gotta
trip
do it.
is Penhurst.
Penhurst.
I
Now,
need.
Penhurst is someplace that I have no interest in going to investigate,
Yeah.
just because I don't like the story there. I just feel bad. I feel bad about what happened there,
Absolutely.
who was there,
Absolutely.
and I really don't want to. I mean, we went on the history tour.
Yeah.
And-
Well, you did, and you and Darlene.
Yeah, and that was fine, and maybe going and looking at some of
Mhm.
the activities when it was in its heyday, but there were some bad things that happened.
And you went to Paracon,
Agreed.
right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, but that was a big thing, so it
Yeah.
wasn't like you
No,
investigated.
you're right. You're right.
Yeah, but our next one, I'm excited. I'm gonna need a lot of protection on because I already got scratched before, and I feel like this one's gonna be like,
And the
Yeah.
Mayflower is a tough one for us.
yeah.
And that
Oh,
we're going to be.
we're going to Mayflower.
Oh, yes, we are.
We're
And you know,
spending a lot of time on
and
it.
the tunnels. Those are my two favorite places.
You know
to-
what we're gonna do for Mayflower? Here's my little idea: is that because there's 4 floors, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Esta's on the first floor. Esta's on the second floor. Esta's on the third floor. Esta's on the 4th floor.
So
all
how-
at the same time.
How are you going to coordinate it?
That's a
then?
great
We'll
idea.
just we'll have to record, like have somebody like
Yeah.
either put your phone recording
You're
on or
in
have
pairs or
Yeah.
3s.
Did it stop?
Oh no, it's going.
Oh, cool.
That's fine.
It's hilarious. I love it.
I don't mind.
She can cut, and
I don't mind telling them what I'm
No,
going to do.
Of course
Yeah.
not. Of course not. I just no. I didn't mean that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I really want to do, even if it's 2, I just know that I want
That's a
I
great
liked-
idea.
I
Get that.
liked what
Matt was saying on the 3rd floor.
Oh yeah, well that too.
Yeah.
But Sierra had, and then somebody was, when you did the Estes in My Haunted Manor, you were on the 2nd floor. Morgan was on the 3rd floor,
Yeah.
and they had rated. I forget who was with Morgan, but Sierra
Jeff.
was there. They were talking to each other over
Yes.
the radio, so you could hear what you were saying and seeing if she was getting something similar.
Like live action going.
maybe we could
On
get
the
like either
second
like
floor.
radios or we can like FaceTime.
Yeah.
Because if you figure,
Well, FaceTime makes sense.
if
I
we
don't know
do
if
each
it works
floor, 4 people on the Estes, you've got a person asking the questions on each floor.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Actually,
And maybe a video, like the tripod set up on each one or
well,
something. I
we
don't know.
could do, if we all brought our laptops and the internet was working, we could all log in onto like Google Hangouts or whatever thing, Riverside, whatever recording thing. We all call in, and so all 4 of us can be recorded at the same time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then we have it recorded.
Obviously, there's bugs. We'll get through that, but we'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good idea, is to, and you have to have a way to communicate
Yeah.
on each. So if something happens, say on the 1st floor, and
Right.
you need
Well,
to,
the other person, the person that's asking questions or whatever, they'll be able to see what's going on in the other rooms
because you're doing a.
because you have a quad.
Can
Mhm.
you work? Does that work there?
I don't know.
I had
don't-
horrible service when I was
I'm
there.
I'm probably not good internet. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Right.
But also time stamping too. So like if you're getting stuff,
Yeah.
okay, whatever, okay, it's 7:28 right now or
Right.
whatever. You know, that's also gonna.
I did not get very good reception there too.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's a great idea, but I don't
Yeah.
know.
I'm thinking
Penhurst
if we
probably
just record it.
Yeah.
Like having
totally each floor recording with a tribe.
so
Totally.
we
Yeah.
can go
Great idea.
back
Yeah.
later and watch.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So excited.
I'm into that.
And that's until 3 a.m. right?
I think it's 2.
Okay.
I think it's
I'll take
2.
it.
Yeah.
And there will be other people there, right? We're not the only group.
I don't know.
Okay.
She said it was possible.
Okay.
It's a possibility because
Crossing our fingers.
Well,
they
maybe
only-
Labor Day weekend it won't be
right.
crowded.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that
Yeah.
we might be the only people there.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. But they also do it on purpose that you don't see each other.
I'm thinking maybe for the infirmary, I want to bring like my stethoscope
Yeah.
and like have it like on my neck and like really try to
Yeah.
like personify that like medical professional. Maybe somebody will try to come through and like
Maybe-
And April too.
In April, but,
'cause
like, maybe,
both of
like,
you. I love
put the
it.
props. Like I
Maybe,
could,
yeah, get a
Might
coat
not
or
be a
have
good
a,
thing
have,
there,
but-
have
I
a
don't
scrub top on. You can
mean,
put
I
a
could-
scrub on. But with the
No,
I
they'd
mean,
be
it would
dressed.
be
They would have been
in
the old
nurses'
like
costumes.
they would have been like the candy, not the candy strippers, but those
Mhm.
dresses.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
You're right.
but even
I mean,
like,
maybe doctor's coat, like a lab coat.
I don't even think I have one of those. But yeah, no, but like trying to see if like, cause we didn't get much activity in the infirmary when we did that.
We did not, but who did? Ron
Ron
and
and
April
April
did after us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very disappointed in the infirmary.
Yeah.
I was, but
We'll go with them and it'll be ramped up.
and it'll be nighttime, which
Yeah.
I think mattered. It was way too bright. in the
I'm
infirmary.
actually kind of getting nervous about it, like talking about it. I'm kind of nervous. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, it was creepy enough during the day. I can't imagine. at
Absolutely,
night.
positively.
I'm getting scratched already.
What, you're not going to will it into fruition, Kelsey.
I like it's. I feel like I'm just open too much. Like things
Okay,
go,
Okay,
like,
but you're gonna say that.
We'll
yeah.
protect you. We'll.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, April and I will Reiki and everything, but we can do
I'm
focus.
like Zach. Didn't Zach always get scratched in like on Ghost Ventures?
Dude, his eyes went bad.
Yeah, but he
in the
always
demon
like.
house.
Yeah, but he also always he got scratched at Penhurst.
Yeah.
But
A
like,
bunch of places
Yeah,
he
but
did.
he's like always gets scratched.
But I
But
don't
you have to
Gross,
take him
right?
with a
He
grain of
does.
salt.
He does provoke. I don't provoke.
Yeah, he does provoke. He's bad. Like, no, stop. Okay, we can wrap this up now.
Or we could go all night. 10-hour podcast, 26 segments.
I'd be like, all right, already. Shut up, people. We get it.
We're talking about every ghost in said building.
So, point of my haunted manor, my brain is starting to go. We're hitting an hour and 45 minutes, so my brain is starting to moosh. But point of that place is there's a lot of layers to those, and I think there's so many entities that we didn't even scratch the surface.
No pun intended. And it's like an onion.
Yes,
You got to peel down the layers, right?
and sometimes it's stanky.
Literally.
So, all right, we're gonna really work in this because I feel like we're leading. This is how this podcast goes. It leads us to places that we need to go next and the people we need to meet next. So,
I think you're
Yeah.
right.
yeah, we're just the universe has got us.
Okay.
All right, everyone, stay weird.
Stay weird. All right,
But a good weird, not a bad weird.
not a yes.
That we know you're gonna.
Nope.
Almost said it.
A happy, fun weird. And we will see you soon.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. If you have a story you'd like to tell us, please email us at onlyghostsinthebuilding@gmail.com, or you can find us on Instagram at Only Ghosts in the Building or Facebook at Only Ghosts in the Building. We also have a Patreon at patreon.com/onlyghosts-in-the-building, and you can come join for free, or we have a $1 a month tier or a $5 a month tier. Come check us out. We have a lot of good content there. I really enjoy the app and all its capabilities. You can listen, you can watch, and you can read and check out all our content right on there. We have merch for sale at onlyghostinthebuilding.com. There's some really cute stuff, including kids' clothes. Go check that out. Thank you so much. We will see you soon.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.